Can we keep our cattle comfortable and healthy as temperatures climb past 100 degrees with humidity that makes it hard to even breathe? And will the rain ever actually show up? Hi, and welcome back to Whitetail Acres Farm. This week, the heat didn't just arrive, it settled in like it owned the place. Temperatures climbing into 100-degree range with humidity so thick you can't even walk outside without breaking into a sweat. It's uncomfortable for us, but for the cattle, it can be very dangerous and fast. Normally at this time of year, we'd have one, maybe two cattle pens in use. Both are set up with fans that we can kick on when the temperatures spike. But this year, we've got a third pen running, the Heifer pen. And with this kind of heat coming, we knew we had to act before it got here. So our plan was simple this week. Get fans into the Heifer pen and make sure all three pens have plenty of dry bedding. Because when it's hot like this, the cattle spend more time inside where they can stay in the shade and conserve energy. Cattle can overheat easily, and when they're stressed from heat, they need a safe place to just relax and stay cool. We picked up 2 new box fans and headed straight to the Heifer pen. Our barn is an older pole barn with plenty of outlets, but it took a few extra minutes to figure out which set of outlets these fans could be wired to. Ones that work with a switch for an easy and on and off and without overloading any circuits. Once we got that all sorted out and flipped the switch, the air started moving. And the heifers almost immediately came over and settled right in where that breeze was flowing across them. That's the feeling that makes the extra effort worth it. Seeing them comfortable when you know what's coming. Aside from the fans and cool water, we also wanted fresh, dry straw down in every pen. When cattle spend more time inside to escape the heat, they're laying down more, and if they're laying on hard ground or dirty bedding, that adds stress and can lead to hoof and health problems. Thankfully, timing worked in our favor. A farmer friend had just finished cutting and baling straw. So we hooked up the stock trailer and took a little road trip to his place to pick up 100 bales. Since we were planning on getting so many bales, we thought it would be easiest to hook up the stock trailer to the truck to load the bales in. It would be easier to load them in there without having to tie them down. So the boys pulled out the stock trailer from its resting place, gave it a good look over, made sure the tires were nice and full, and then we made the trip to our friend's farm. It didn't take long at all to load up the trailer with the straw. We even picked up about a dozen or so bales of freshly baled alfalfa to give the cattle as occasional treats. The fresh bales smelled so good going into that trailer, and we couldn't wait to get them home to the herd. As soon as we got home, we unloaded about half the bales directly into the livestock barn for storage. Then we grabbed about a dozen or so bales and started throwing them into the pens immediately. Breaking up fresh bales, spreading straw out thick and even in all three pens. Then the cattle moved right in. They were clearly excited with the fresh bedding and started nosing through it, rubbing around on it and checking it out. And some even started eating it. Even though they have plenty of other food to eat, they can't resist a good bale of straw too. And walking through the barn, 3 pens full of content animals with fresh straw, fans running, cool water. It's a quiet kind of satisfaction. You do everything you can to set them up for comfort, and when you see them all relaxed, you know it's all worth it. But outside the barn, things are about to take a turn. The land is crying out for rain. We keep seeing chances of rain popping up on the forecast, and every time the storms seem to skirt around us, until the other day. A massive storm popped out of nowhere. I'm talking about the kind of storm you don't see coming until it's right on top of you. The sky went from bright and hazy to dark and ominous in what felt like minutes. The wind was the first thing we noticed, and it wasn't a normal breeze building up gradually. It was sudden. All at once, the air started howling, trees were swaying and bending in ways that make your stomach drop. Branches and leaves started flying across the property. We stopped what we were doing immediately and headed indoors. When you see the sky turn that color and feel the wind shift like that, you don't stand around and debate it. And then it happened. In the hayfield, one of the largest trees on this property came down. It just came down. This was a huge tree, and I cannot tell you how grateful we are that it fell the direction that it did. It landed squarely in the hayfield and did not touch the fence. That's nothing short of a blessing, because replacing a stretch of wire fence and dealing with a down tree on top of it would have been entirely a different kind of week.
Like this tree back here, so we got knocked down too. This one right here is a completely different tree. There's one back there too that's across our trail. And we got this giant tree. The thing just completely shattered right at the base. There's an unbelievable amount of wind to push that down. It was a healthy tree too.
But still, we now have a massive tree laying in the middle of our hayfield that will need to be cut up, hauled out, and cleaned up before it interferes with anything. And that wasn't the only casualty. Another tree on the property, a pretty good sized one, had several large limbs torn right off, and when we went to inspect it afterwards, we saw that it had split right down the middle.
Is that tree split?
Oh, it is.
I bet you that storm just did that. That's all fresh. Split all the way down.
And then beyond those 2 trees, there was debris everywhere. Broken branches and limbs scattered all across the property. The wind had picked things up and thrown them, little branches in the yard, bigger limbs out in the fields. It looked like a storm had rolled through and just shook everything loose. When the wind was at its worst, we had headed indoors as fast as possible. It almost seemed like a tornado was going to touch down, which is rare where we are, but not impossible. Clouds built up overhead, lightning started flashing, and then the rain started. For a few minutes, it actually came down. But just as quickly as it all began, it stopped. A beautiful rainbow appeared across the sky, and it was over. The whole thing lasted maybe 15 minutes of actual rain and chaos. It created a lot of excitement and a whole lot of cleanup work, but unfortunately it didn't bring the rain that the fields needed. The ground barely got wet before it was over. So here's where we are now. The fields are still dry, the heat is still here, and now on top of everything else we've got, one massive tree down in the hayfield, thankful every time that we look at it that it missed the fence. A second tree with a large limb torn off and cracks split right down the center that's going to need to be dealt with, and broken branches and limbs scattered from one end of the property to the other. This upcoming week, there's more chances of rain showing in the forecast. We're watching it closely, and hopefully this will be the week that everything gets a much needed dose of rain. But if we've learned anything from this storm, it's that you can't count on the forecast to deliver. At least the animals are all healthy and content. They have fresh straw, cool water, and fans keeping the air moving, and that's what we can control. The rest is up to God. All in all, it was a productive and successful few days. Getting those fans mounted, hauling 100 bales of straw, and making sure every animal on this farm had what they need to get through this heat wave. The storm gave us a scare and left us with some cleanup work, but it could have been much worse. That tree missed the fence by several feet and everyone is safe. We'll keep doing what we can here, and we'll keep watching that sky. If you've been through a storm like this, one that just shows up out of nowhere, tears things up, and disappears before it really gets good, or if you've been dealing with the heat wave on your own farm, we'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more farm adventures along with everything else going on here. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.